Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Doc.
One Doc.
It's your girl, BD.
Four ends the fiance.
And we back. Every time I say we back, it's like, of course we're back. It's like another week. Do you know what I mean?
I know.
But we are back, though.
I mean, we have to be back by virtue that you can hear us.
Yeah, fair. I'm drinking today. Obviously, taking one for the team. I feel like I finally finished the port, by the way, guys, for anyone who's interested. That literally nearly lasted me a month, which is wild. Today I'm drinking the Yellowtail Jammy Red Roux.
Oh, I love it.
Which is currently my favourite red. Yeah, like literally I was speaking to someone yesterday and they were like, oh my days, I tried this wine that I saw on your Instagram and I really liked it. And it was this one.
Come on, influencer.
Influenza.
Listen, I'm just thinking like after this fucking like Penny D, we need to get like an Airbnb in the country somewhere and just like take a shitload of wine and just drink.
Yeah. No, we should just go to a winery.
Oh yeah, that too. Maybe
some
cocaine.
Call it? Vineyard.
But yeah. People think I'm joking about this cocaine thing, which I kind of am. But at the same time, I just feel like I've been repressed for so long. Like, I feel like, what was I even living? There's so much I haven't tried.
You just want to feel.
Yeah, I want to feel. And I just want one quick. And I'd feel a lot.
I feel something. All up in your gums.
Yeah.
So what documentary are we doing today, my love?
Oh, we're doing The Man Who Ate His Lover. Literally, people have been messaging me on like Instagram and they're like, yeah, I just finished listening to the Britney one and the trailer at the end just really scarred me. Like a lot of people are like, I'm definitely not watching it. I'm just going to listen to you guys narrate. And I'm like, that's absolutely fine.
So my sister messaged me and was like, you two need to be arrested for cannibalism. And I was like, but is it really cannibalism if you're eating yourself though?
Oh yeah, I forgot we had that conversation.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah, I mean, I listened back. When I was listening to Britney, I listened to the conversation. I was like, I was disgusted. I can't lie.
Really?
Yeah, as we were, like, when we were talking about it, it's fine because you're in the moment. But listening back, I was like, oh, God. It's just something about eating human flesh that
human flesh, but if it's your own flesh.
Nah. Are you going to eat your own shit?
I think that's not the same thing. We don't eat other people's shit. We don't eat animal shit.
Okay,
which is what we're comparing. So let's keep the comparisons relative. Do you know what I mean? Let them make sense. Because the thing is that, like, I think cannibalism is wrong, right? Mm-hmm. Because in order to eat another human being, that human being has to die.
Okay, so
that's wrong.
Okay, so let's put it this way: if you were in a plane crash, God forbid,
like lost,
and then,
to survive, but then it's either me or.
So would you eat the dead body?
I wouldn't eat a dead body.
No, but it's just died
either.
I mean, I guess that's a quick descent into cannibalism if it's just died.
Yeah, and it's like by force cannibalism. It's not like this situation where it's like,
I'd honestly
you didn't
rather
have to do any of this.
I'd rather just like not be alive.
I mean, you say that, but your instinct is to live. That's actually your body wants to be alive for the most part. So it's like, okay, either way, we are not eating anybody. Okay, just for everyone who's concerned, that's not the plan. We don't hope to.
Like, I can feel my mouth moistening for the vomit.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say
no, I'm not
salivating for the flesh.
For the flesh, no. I can feel like the lubricant. You know, with that. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, when your mouth gets mad watery and you're about to be sick. Yeah.
I can. It's gonna happen.
Don't be sick. We have an episode to record, please.
Yeah, it's gonna happen on this episode because I literally had to pause watching this documentary so many times because it was just too disgusting.
Yeah, it was wild. I think the fact that it was a really old documentary and the production value wasn't great, it kind of like, I was a bit disassociated with what was going on. I was a bit like, oh, it's really peak, but like, at least it's not in HD. Do you know what I mean?
Because that would have been crazy. Okay, so let's get into it. So the documentary opens up in December 2003 and it kind of starts...
ages ago.
I know. It kind of starts like at the back because we see this guy Armin Mavers on trial for murder. And basically he's claiming that he shouldn't be charged with murder as the victim asked to be killed. And that's basically...
Which is really interesting, right? Because it's like, this story is not about, oh, did you kill him, did you not? Which is like what every other crime thing is about. It's like, okay, we get you killed him, but like, was it murder?
Which, do you know what? I kind of agree that... I kind of believe that if somebody asked to be killed and you have proof that they asked to be killed, you shouldn't be put on trial for murder. But you still shouldn't kill someone. So it's a
I mean,
weird grey out area.
It's still technically murder. It should probably just be like
manslaughter.
Solicited murder. No, it's not manslaughter because you meant to kill the person. They just said, yeah, kill me. Well, it's not euthanasia either because the person's not sick. So there needs to be like a phrase for it, because I understand what you mean. It's different to like, I didn't consent to die and you killed me. But like, you know, I consented to die and you killed me. It's kind of like, I mean, it's wrong.
Yeah.
But like, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess think about the family. It's like if you decided to say to someone, yeah, you know, I don't mind if you kill me. Like, you might be happy with it, but I'm going to be like, the fuck?
Yeah.
Who am I supposed to do this podcast with? You know?
It's true. I mean, it's true. Yeah. So we learned that the two crackpots in question met on the internet on the 5th of February 2001 and then met face to face a month later. So now the documentary kind of does this thing where we learn about... It spends a lot of time actually telling us about the two, like, crazies in this documentary.
People. Yeah.
But, so now we're focused on Armin. And Armin is the guy that did the killing. So we learn that Armin grew up in this massive manor, 40 rooms. And it was in this, like, remote village where there were only, like, 7 homes in the village.
Yeah,
like,
in Germany.
he was the only gay in the village. And he lived alone with his mother because his father like abandoned the family, and then his brothers like grew up and they left, and it was just him and his mother. So they had a really weird codependent relationship.
Yeah.
Where she was very controlling and she wanted to know what he was doing at all times, and he lived for her, which is just like, listen, love your mum. Do you get me? Like, I love mum's bits. That's my girl. That's my bestie. But she's not in a tussie.
Not yet.
But you have to have some, you have to be your own person.
Boundary. But the thing is, like, it's very strange. But I kind of, like, when you hear the history about the dad leaving, the brothers leaving, it's like, okay, cool. Now he's now stifled by his mum's attention. It's like, okay, I have all this love I have to give. I have to give it to you. I don't want you to also leave. Yeah. Which is unfair and kind of strange. But like, I get it based on the history.
The mum needed like a boyfriend. That's what she really needed.
She needed a... I do find that like when parental romantic relationships are a bit meh, like that can have a detrimental effect on
and I feel like it especially happens with women, because like with men a lot of times they find it easier to like step out and find somebody else, but like when you see a situation where there's a mum and it's just her and a son, it can be like a weird dynamic, because
and then you don't want to feel like you're abandoning your son. Like
exactly.
He still want him to be the priority and all that good stuff.
It's weird. So we learned that as a young kid, he had kind of like an imaginary sibling and imaginary friends because he was quite alone. And then he had dreams of dismembering and eating other kids so that they'd forever be inside him. And this is just like, I just wonder how many kids you see on the street and you're like, oh, there's a cute kid and he's thinking about eating and killing people. This is crazy. This is crazy.
This is really crazy. Shout out Candy, because it's like, what can you even do at this point? Like you're a child and you're having these, so it's like we always speak about escalation, right, in these situations, and it's like you're a kid and you're having these dreams, like it was just a matter of time. Like, is there a certain therapy or treatment or medication that you can take to like prevent you from acting upon these urges? Like, what do you do? Do you know what I mean?
I feel like in this guy's case, I genuinely believe if he grew up with a lot more like contact with people his own age and he had like a healthy social life, it would have helped. But then at the same time, where does a kid even understand the concept of dismembering? So this is where it comes to, is evil just born inside you? Because where? Like, I didn't even understand the concept of dismembering and killing people at such a young age. So why did he even think of that?
And then why are you fantasizing about it?
Yeah.
And then not even just that, like, it's not like you watched a scary movie and you had a dream about it. It's like you had a reasoning behind it so that they could be with you
inside
forever.
you. What the hell?
That's the same thing that what's his name said, Dharma said.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they'll be with you forever. It's as if you don't shit the person out.
Oh,
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like with Jeffrey Dahmer, with this guy, like, sometimes it's tough though, because there are people who could live in the same situation and circumstances and not descend into this madness.
Right.
And
so this is the thing. I don't think that the having those thoughts is necessarily their fault, but acting upon it is a choice.
Yeah,
right?
Actually, do you know what? I think we all have those thoughts though. Because there are these things called... No. But there are these things called... is it dissociative thoughts or stuff like that? It's that thing that, like, when you're driving and you're like, what if I just, like, drove off...
Yeah, but that's not the same. That's not the same as a fantasy.
I guess.
A fantasy is like, there's glee involved. Like you.
Yeah.
Do you remember that time when we were watching? I don't remember if like, I feel like one of us watched this documentary and told the other one to watch it ages ago. It's about this guy who was a paedophile. It's like the paedophile next door, or whatever.
Yeah.
So he was a paedophile by definition, but he hadn't acted on it. So he says, but he hadn't acted on it. It's like he still had those urges, which is like, that's fucked up and very, very wrong. But he hadn't acted on it, and it's kind of like, you have these urges and you don't act on it. So you are still a paedophile, you just haven't really acted upon it and ruined a child's life, right? So it's like you were saying, it's like, okay, some people have these weird urges or fantasies or desires or whatever, and then don't act upon it. I mean, I guess that's better than them acting on it, but it's still kind of like...
It's still kind of... Eesh.
Yeah.
Because it's a slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope. Like, it just takes one time.
One oops.
I did it again.
So as Armin was growing up, we learned that he was kind of detached from the other people in the village. He wasn't really attending kind of the group activities they would do, or one of the guys called them like the discotheques or whatever.
Discotheque. This is all set in Germany, by the way.
Yeah,
so imagine.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I never said this. It's in Germany. Yes, it's in Germany. So he wasn't and like they had so the people talking, and then they had these voiceovers, and it was just weird. But yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but it's 2000. Like, this is an old.
Yeah, it's
old. I didn't realize how old it was until I pressed play, and I was like, I've made an error.
Yeah. So he wouldn't come out to any of the like events or things that the young people were going to, and like there was a lot of questions about his sexuality. And during this time, his mother actually becomes bedridden. So the dependency is even more because she needs him for all of like her care, which is just, it's so sad because like these years are the formative years, like where he should be out there building like his personality, his friendship group, finding himself, meeting him, literally. And he's stuck at home, like looking after his mum, who already as an individual is not independent. So what more like when she's bedridden? It's it's double trouble, toil and trouble. How's it?
Bubble, toil and trouble, fire, burn and cold and bubble.
Yeah, all
that
of
might
that.
be a remix.
And then man,
shout out Shakespeare in that.
So as an escape, he joins the army and then subsequently joins a sailing club that did expeditions. So this guy was so smothered that he had to like lie to his mum about what he was doing when he went for it. So that's like me at my age, okay. 21 years of old I am. 21 years old I am.
Goodbye.
21.
Good night.
Listen, nobody can tell me anything. I am 21, okay? No, but that's like literally me at my age. Like coming and saying to my parents, oh, I'm going on like a trip, and asking them for permission. Menaga, I'm telling you, okay?
So look, I'm not going to be here. Don't ask me to do nothing.
Literally. So
do you remember in that time in life where like everything switched from, hey mum, can I go to here?
So,
like,
I'm going here. Oh yeah.
I
it was a tough
clearly.
transition for me. Because I was the first. Yeah, I was the first. And my siblings are a lot younger than me. So
they... it's like set an example.
Exactly. They, not just example, but they were still very much in parent mode. So like... Because they were like parenting my siblings, when I would be like, oh yeah, I'm doing this. They're like, oh, no. Like I remember...
It's like, I'm grown.
People are going to think my parents are crazy. But I remember like first year of uni coming back, and I was going to like someone's house. And like my dad was like, oh, I want their address. I want like... I was like...
You want to speak to their parents?
I was like, bro... No, it's a no from me. Like, I'm finna go here and you finna go to bed, okay? But
you see me when you see me.
You see me when you see me. But yeah, so basically he lies to his mum about this trip that he's going on, and he goes on the trip. And so then finally he comes back and they're going on another expedition, and he's like, you know what, no, I want to be honest about where I'm going. So he tells her that like he's going on this trip, and then the mum is like, okay, I want to meet the guy who organizes these expeditions.
From your bed, sis.
Literally, 30 years of age, this guy was. And his mum is his mummy.
He's literally 30.
So the guy who organized...
You could be someone's mummy.
Literally. The guy who organizes the trip was just basically like, yo, I do not know why I had to meet the mum. It was weird. But yeah, I did that shit. So he goes on the trip... and he basically has to call his mum every day from the boat.
Every day, yeah.
It was just weird.
This is not like, oh, we went to get an Airbnb. Like, they are on the seas.
Literally.
On the high seas.
SpongeBob SquarePants. Like, bro. But yeah, this is all just kind of like setting the tone to the kind of life this guy was living, and how he was smothered, and just his lack of independence. So
And also his lack of socialization with people, for the most part.
Yes, exactly.
Which I think is very important in order to become like a functioning member of society.
100%. So we learn in September 1999 his mother actually dies, which is kind of like, okay, finally you're like free. Like you can be who you wanted to be. Like, so he's officially alone, which he found devastated. But we learned that instead of him being free and being able to start his own life, it kind of like threw him off balance, which is understandable because you've spent your whole life being with this woman, being in her pocket, kind of being her handbag, and then she's gone and it's like, yo, what do I do?
What happens now? Yeah, this is all you've known.
So
and I guess it's not good, but kind of good of him because it doesn't seem as though there's resentment there towards her for the fact, which is kind of strange. But like if there had been, then it would have been like, oh, thank fuck, she's dead. Let me live my best life. Let me sell these 40 rooms or whatever. But it seemed like he was just as dependent on her as she was on him.
Yeah, 100%. So, by the way, there are a lot of talking heads in this documentary. I didn't write any of their names down. I don't know if you did. Same. No, okay, cool. So one of the talking heads says,
it's both a relief and a danger. It's a relief from a lifelong control and a danger, what can I do without her? This could enforce his deviant fantasies, because in this part of his life, he always felt secure.
And I think, like, this is where we start to understand that this stuff he was thinking about as a kid was real. And his mother was kind of... She was almost like the blocker between him and living those fantasies. Because obviously he can't dismember and consume someone in a house where she's there.
Yeah, so, he hasn't got time. Like, he's
exactly. So it's kind of like, at this point, now she's gone, there's nothing stopping him from living his best life, quote unquote.
True. But then... Also, earlier we were saying how, like, if he didn't have to take care of her so much, maybe he'd be more socialised and then maybe he wouldn't have these fantasies. But clearly, the fantasies were there. Like, it wasn't so much that, well, I guess we'll never know because he wasn't really socialised normally, but it's a case where the real barrier between him, like, having fantasies and him fulfilling his fantasies was the presence of his mum.
Yeah, literally.
Rather than, he just didn't have friends.
Yeah.
Maybe that also was a contributing factor.
I think it was. I think it literally was the perfect. What's that thing where you're doing experiments?
Perfect storm.
Yeah. Perfect environment or perfect. What's that word? Like where you have to create a perfect.
My sister's gonna listen to this.
Yeah, she's gonna be screaming. Conditions.
I'm so sorry, sis.
Yeah, I don't know, but everything came together to make this. Yeah. So now we're gonna learn a bit about the ET, because we have the eater and we have the ET. So
oh my God.
we have the consumer and the consumed.
ET, like the consumer and we have the consumed. I'm R.I.P. man. I'm so sorry.
Guys, I think literally we should start. I should start my own dictionary. I come up with a new word every single episode.
I mean, no, but we had the conservator and the conservatee last episode.
And then I said conservate.
The consumer and the consumee.
No, but I said conservate as well. I made that up.
Yeah, but consumer and consumee.
Is consuming a word? No, so I made that up.
It is now.
I'm starting my own dictionary. The eater and the ET. Not to be mixed up with ET, the interterrestrial.
Or eatery, which is where we will be on April the 12th.
Exactly. Amen.
Hello.
Have you seen that video where she's like eating and like everything's like, I was like, this is literally gonna be us. My lash will be like flinging to the high heavens.
I don't care.
So, the consumee, but we learn that he went missing and everyone's looking for him, which is natural. And then we learn he had a secret boyfriend and colleagues and the police, like, who are just all over the world, like all over looking for him in Germany. So now again, like I said to you, we're going to learn a bit about the two crackpots. So now we're going to learn a bit more about Bert.
Crackpot number 2.
So the first thing that kind of comes out about Bert is people saying that possibly, you know, he was a male sex worker. And this happens a lot in Germany, where people who live a quiet life are actually male sex workers, and then they get murdered and they disappear. But Bert's boyfriend...
Yeah, he's like a software designer, isn't
yeah,
he?
literally.
Some guy.
Any, like, normal guy. But Bert's boyfriend was like, no, he refutes these claims. He was like, he never could have been that. We spent all our time together. He led a quiet life. We only went to cinema and dinners. We didn't even mix with other couples. And it's kind of like, well, you didn't spend all your time together because he had this whole other life. We learned that before the boyfriend came along, Bert had a long-term girlfriend. And once they broke up, he went on a prowl. Like, he was just like, yeah, he needs to find someone new. Like, literally hotation. And then he had that thing men have when they turn 40 and it's like a midlife crisis. Like, oh my God. And I was just thinking the other day, like, my fiance is like, what, 4 odd years away from it? And I'm just like, listen, my nigga, like, I don't have time for this.
Could come after, you never know.
Yeah, but either way, I don't have time for it. Like, get your shit
Just get him
together
a leather
now.
jacket.
And like a motorcycle, right?
Yeah, he'll be fine.
And like a convertible car, and he'll be fine. Yeah,
he'll be fine. Yeah,
yeah, that's true. So Bert turns 40 and he starts like working out crazy, gets washboard abs, he shaves his head, and he's just like, yeah, I really want to make it's a zaddy. Ooh, if you call him daddy, you let him get your panties. Daddy. So yeah, he's like, listen, I want to maintain my sexual allure, and you know what? More power to
do your thing, B.
Whatever makes you happy, do it. So we learn he spent 6,000 Deutschmark bringing a girl over from Nigeria. And I was just like, why does it, my people, please, let us change our destiny and be known for...
I mean, let us change our destinies also, but then also, like, money, like, why would you allow yourself to be duped like this?
Do you know there's a show on...
There's the duper and there's the dupee, and it's like, you don't have to be
push
the
through
duper.
The
like,
four ends to... Okay, girl.
Listen,
dictionary coming soon.
The lingo.
Dictionary coming soon.
The lingo.
But there's this show my sister watches, and it's like money or love, and it's basically about people who get duped out of a lot of money, and like it's kind of like Catfish, but it's more focused on the element of like, okay, people are actually seriously duping you for money, and like people.
I would prefer that to Catfish, because with Catfish, what is the motive?
No, but this one, yeah, you don't get your money back. You just investigate to see if you've been lied to, and literally half the time it's Nigerians like catfishing these people out of big money. Like £40,000.
Okay.
I mean, it's
40,000.
Listen, sister, if you are hungry, I'm just saying. So yeah, he spends 6,000 Deutschmark bringing the girl over from Nigeria, and upon reaching the airport, he's disappointed. And at first I thought he was disappointed because it was like a guy, or because like she didn't look how she was meant to. But no, my sister also had her own rotation because somebody else had paid to bring her over. So she called him, she's like, yeah, I'm at the airport, but listen, I'm bouncing with this other guy. And he never gets his money back. He's like, yeah, I'm going to go to Nigeria and find out. And it's like, yeah, no.
It's so funny to me because in my head, like, this woman never existed. Like, this is just a man at the end of a computer who found a picture of somebody and put it up. Like, this woman does not exist.
I don't think she was ever at the airport. I don't think she was ever at the airport.
No.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. So at this point, he kind of descends and becomes more and more outlandish in his like quests for companionship, and he's doing all sorts of things. He's dating different people, just I guess living his life, but on the wild side, on the edge. On the edge.
I'm on the edge
of glory. Okay,
come on.
So Bert meets his male friend who starts living in his apartment, and a lot of his colleagues are like, oh, they just thought they were besties, that Bert would always talk about his sexual conquest with women, that they never like even suspected that he was inclined like towards any sort of
to like men.
Yeah. And he kind of plays off like, yeah, they both have this like passion for computers, so that's why the guy moves in with him and they're doing work on the computer, so everyone just buys it. So now we're back with Armin, because we've left Bert there. We're back with Armin now.
Yeah. Crackpot number one.
Literally crackpot number one. So Armin is basically like, okay, he's got this free time and he starts using it to help others, and he becomes more frequent at a brothel bar. So the brothel bar is not helping other people, but he just starts helping other people in the village, and then he goes to brothel bars as well, and he's kind of like telling everybody in the village like, yeah, he has a girlfriend, he's engaged, like he's having sex with all these women, and they're like, bro, no, you're not.
Okay.
Like, stop it.
Okay, yeah, Jan.
Literally, it's like, okay, Jan, literally. So Armin helps, and like Armin starts installing computers in his house, and he's trying to get onto the web and the internet and stuff like that. And whilst he's doing all of this, and I remember we had an episode where we also asked this question: how do people stumble onto certain aspects of the internet? Because I remember one time I'd been reading Jacqueline Wilson, and it was like Girls in Love, where she was like bulimic and like anorexic. And then I was like,
what a throwback to all them books.
why did you get AirPods? Because they're not your vibe.
I am actually. Do you know why I got them? Sorry, guys. Basically, what happened? Let me give you a visual. My AirPod just fell out my ear.
Yeah.
Unprovoked. Did I do a backflip? No. I was just sitting here. But basically, the headphones I had before were just so frustrating. Like, they would take ages to connect. Maybe they won't connect. Like, if like the battery was low, it will keep telling me while I'm listening to whatever I'm listening to. Like, it was just so frustrating. I was like, this is getting on my nerves. I'm just gonna get AirPods, because they're just easier. It's calm vibes, whatever. And now I have them, and I'm like, the Apple cult is strong within my blood because there was no need.
Yeah, they're not your vibe though. Maybe it's because I'm used to seeing you with headphones.
Yeah, no, then yeah, I mean, you are used to seeing me with headphones, but and then also when I'm wearing headphones, like I wear headphones and then my glasses are always like pressed into the side of my head,
does
and
hurt.
it really pisses me off.
Yeah,
it really pisses me off, and I'm like, I can't do this no more. Like,
no, I would never.
So,
These beats on my hijab, I would never remove.
Really?
Yeah, they are worth it. I would never.
Especially in summer, I hate wearing headphones in summer. Like, it drives me crazy. I'm just like,
your ears are hot.
Nah, I'm done.
Yeah, that's true. But especially like when you're on the train, it's just like when you got your headphones on, like beats, it's just like, fuck off. Like, I can't hear you, and you know I can't hear you, so just don't chat to me.
Yeah. I mean, when I had headphones, I would just put them on, and music isn't always playing.
Yeah.
But you just know that
you can't.
I don't want to speak. Yeah.
So basically, like I was saying, I don't know how people stumble onto. Yes, I was saying like Girls in Love.
The dark web. Jacqueline Wilson. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like started googling like this stuff about like anorexia and losing weight and stuff, and I found a lot of anorexic forums. But like, I guess there are a lot of forums like for people like support.
Yeah, but that makes sense. It's not like it's like cannibalism is.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still kind of like, I don't know if it's considered dark web, but it's still a weird place in the web where like it's a forum to support you to be anorexic. Like people,
oh shit,
yeah, that's what I mean. Like people would like post their bodies, not make you, like it's for people who are anorexic and obviously they want to continue being anorexic, so they support each other. Like, oh, like how much did you eat today? Like, oh, I ate like 1p, and it's like, oh, like, I had a carrot stick.
Yeah, that's
posting, and like, oh,
wild.
I vomited this time. Oh, my mom's such a fucking bitch. She made me eat like a slice of bread. Like,
that's wild.
Yeah, there are a lot of forums like that. But then also back then, I feel like the internet was less regulated. Like, we're talking like what, 2000 and maybe 3, 4. Like,
what are you talking about? The Jacqueline Wilson?
Yeah, the Jacqueline Wilson one. And I guess this was probably the same time actually around.
This was probably before then.
So anyways, so he gets this computer installed in his house, and he logs onto like a cannibal room.
Yeah, this is where it starts to get really, really, really like,
weird,
dark.
And basically, like, he finds like-minded people, and it's like, first of all, it's bad enough there's one person in the world like this.
There's always like-minded people.
Literally, and then there's a second crackpot. But oh my gosh, there are other people. Like
there are more. If there's one, there's 100.
Yeah, it's kind of like a rat. If you see a mouse in your house, know they're more. Like yeah.
He's not alone.
Yeah. So Armin posts this ad, and he's looking for a well-built man to eat.
Can you imagine?
And he posts like under the alias Frankie, which is like, it was the name of his imaginary friend.
That's the name of his imaginary brother. Yeah.
Ciao. This is a mess. So he starts fixing up his dilapidated.
You know what we mean.
He starts fixing up his dilapped house.
A young dilappy.
Oh my! I'm dropping a dictionary. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
But there's so much work.
Oh my god! You know what? With the dictionary,
yeah.
You know, back in the day when people had albums and they had like CDs.
Yeah.
And then they had like the paper with the pictures and the lyrics and stuff.
Yeah.
That is where we can have the thing. It can come with the CD or album.
Oh right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Look at you.
Branding genius.
Look at you.
Look at you and look at you.
So his friend, who's kind of a bitch, she's very shady, that woman. She's extremely shady. She says a lot of shady stuff about him.
The one that lived near him.
Yeah. Like he helped you fix your computer, and then she says that
it was like in the middle of the night as well.
Yeah, and then she says that like how was one time he made a pass at her, and she was like, like I would never sleep with you, be sleeping with you, be like having sex with Mickey Mouse. Can you imagine? Yeah. What a silly cow.
Do you know how rude is that? Not like, be like having sex with my brother or my friend. Like
Mickey Mouse.
What a cartoon character.
What a rude cow. No, she's very
saying
shady.
You're a joke.
Literally.
She's saying you're a joke.
Literally, she's like, you are a clown and it can never happen.
Yeah, literally.
Oh my gosh. So yeah. she basically comes in, she's like, oh yeah, like he was fixing up this place, but like there was no point. You really needed to like demolish the whole place and start again. I was like, you shady cow, this is his family home that's been in the family for 700 years.
Let him fix it.
Literally, like let me Bob the Builder if he wants to. So whilst he's fixing up this house, he constructs a slaughter room which has a cage.
God. It's like we were just defending you, and it's like, look what you've come to do.
Oh god. So Armin starts to gain notoriety on the internet. Is that the right way to say the word?
Yeah, notoriety.
Okay. Ooh. On the internet, and people want to see this like slaughter room because he's talking about it on the on the web.
Weebs.
And people would come to his house, so they'd come all the way to his house. And he would put them in a cage. He would mark up their body where he wanted to cut them. He would even hoist them up on a pulley by their legs. And then, our narrator says...
But he discovered that very few people were willing to take their fantasies further than roleplay. Every one of them returned home unharmed.
It's like a scary house. Like if you imagine like a Halloween experience and you can go and it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to act like I'm going to slaughter you and kill you and talk to you and stuff. But you can rest assured that like this is just for the thrill of it. And then you're going to go home and be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which
and I
not
think it
what
just...
Armin wanted.
Yeah, it just shows that like, although people can be crazy and have like these... Because I remember listening to a podcast where basically this guy gets arrested because like he's on one of these websites and he tells a story about how he killed and ate his whole family. So he's arrested basically because someone's flagged it on the cannibal, and it's like whoever was the flaggee or the flagger,
Like,
the
what
flagger,
are you doing there? The flagger, yeah.
The flagger.
This guy was a flaggee.
It's just as bad as the flaggee because you are all on the same internet of nets talking about this shit, but you said you wanted to eat a random person, this person's family, and now he took it too far.
See, but this is how we feel. This is how we feel about Oscar in The Office. Like you're all in the same place. You're interacting with these people. These are your boys, but you feel like you're better than them.
So Oscar's Oscar and Michael's Oski.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything can be eat. Anything can be eat.
Oh my god.
So yeah, like they flag it basically, and so they flag that guy, and basically like they go to arrest him. He's a police officer, by the way, and they find out that like he hadn't eaten his whole family. He just had like this fantasy of doing it, and there was a girl that went missing like when he was in college, and like he wrote a story about how he ate her, but he didn't. Like it's weird.
I mean, that's also strange, but I mean, it's good that you're not killing and eating people, but it's also very strange. Like, why are you? But I
say all this to say that even within this madness of these forums, there are like degrees to it. So I guess. These
but
people...
it's like what you were saying before, like, if you have these fantasies, you have these fantasies, right? But, like, it's then your choice to act upon them.
Yeah.
And also to lie about acting upon them. Whatever, either way, like, you don't have to act upon them. Like, okay, maybe it's not your fault that you have these fantasies. Maybe that's just...
But you can nip it in the bud. Yeah.
Yeah, but just nip it in the bud, yeah.
So the timeline of this documentary jumps about a lot, basically. But... Basically, now we're back with Bert, and we learned that 1 year before his disappearance...
Who's Bert again?
Bert is the E.T.
Okay.
The 8. The one that was 8, the consumee.
Consumee. Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
So we're with Bert again, and we learned that 1 year before his disappearance, he was living with his boyfriend, Renee, so that's the secret boyfriend.
Yeah.
And basically, unknown to everyone, he started to frequent male sex workers. And it always starts here. Not that it always starts with going to, like... sex work, but it always starts with like sexual deprivation, these things, like, and then it builds up. So he's visiting male sex workers, which his boyfriend Renee obviously doesn't know, and he asks a lot of them to whip him till he bleeds, and then he wants them to bite off his penis, which nobody agrees to do. And I'm just like,
I mean, of course they don't.
I just like the thought of like biting down on a
member.
It's
yeah, it's
wild.
wild.
My god! Like you'd have to like pull at it and okay.
It's wild. And the thing is, because I'm so sorry, guys. It's about to be graphic, but because he would be excited by this, like he would enjoy this, like this would get him going. It would be really hard, and so it would be actually quite difficult. To bite off.
Yeah.
And it's like the pain. It's like, it's not like I'll bite off my pinky finger that I don't really use for anything. Like you need to urinate at the very least. Like I just think it's just a wild request.
Oh my god.
To not even just think about, but then to actually voice.
This is like, I am all the way like turned. I've never been so turned off in my life.
Honestly.
Like I feel like I never want to be touched again. This is disgusting.
Yeah, honestly. I don't know why we chose this one.
Yeah, I feel like I can feel the bile in my throat. Yeah. So all these like craziness all this craziness led him to the consumer Armin on the internet, because he's like, like,
it's like for every one person there is another person on this earth for that person, because these two literally yin and yang. Like, what are the chances
that
like,
you
I
would
want to kill and eat, and you want to be killed and be eaten?
And literally, like, match made in hell.
Oh my god, can you get out of my head? Can you actually get out of my
head? So he's on the intern of Nets, and
not the intern of Nets, Lord Jesus.
And he's like, you trying to eat? Oh, I'm trying to get ate, and let's get it cracking. So Bert is a very evil and wicked man, and I'm about to tell you why he is. Because on the 9th of March, Bert leaves his house as per usual, like he's going to work. Renee's still asleep, thinking, okay, my man's about to go to work, he's about to get that paper. But Bert buys a one-way ticket to Castle, where Armin will be waiting for him. Prior to this meetup, both men had sent naked pictures of themselves, detailed instructions of how they wanted the consumption to go down. And Bert pays for his tickets in cash so that he can't be traced.
There's no trace,
Before he leaves, he wipes all traces of these conversations of the forums from his computer. And the reason I say he's a very wicked man is because it's fine if you want to be eaten, and it's fine if you're on your way to be eaten. That's cool. But it's not fine, but...
It's not fine.
But these are all things that affect just you. But
Yeah.
going out of your way to make it difficult for the people around you who love and care about you to know what happened to you. It's very wicked and evil.
Yeah.
It's like, this is basically suicide, essentially. And if you're going to commit suicide, like, why would you go somewhere? Like, you paid in cash, you left no trace. Like, so people in your life don't know if you're dead, they don't know if you're alive.
They're still going to have hope.
And this is why I say
there's no closure for them.
Exactly. Bert is a very disturbed man, because obviously wanting someone to eat you is disturbed enough, but inflicting this kind of pain and suffering on your family, like, this goes beyond, I'm just trying to scratch an itch. This goes beyond, this goes beyond, I'm just trying to scratch an itch. This now descends into, like, no, I actually want people to suffer even. It's very depraved. I'm sorry.
It's like, you're not thinking about how this is going to affect the people around you. Because, it's a bit weird. I mean, it's very weird that you want to be eaten and stuff. But if people know that, like, if there's a clear trail and they can find this out quickly, okay, cool, he decided, then now all they have to do is, like, not all they have to do, but they just have to reckon with the fact that this is what you decided to do and that you're no longer here. But now it's going to take ages. They're looking for you. You're missing. They don't know exactly where you are for ages. Then they find out that you're dead. Then it's kind of like, oh, wow, you were just killed or something. It's just like, it's too much. Like, you could just let them have peace a bit sooner.
Literally. And I feel like I guess I understand the concept of, okay, maybe he wanted to protect Armin from, like, being arrested or whatever. But then you could have left a letter just explaining, like, listen, I'm dead. Like, don't worry, like, I'm dead. I'm actually dead. But yeah. He'd done a lot of research on human flesh and meat and consumption, and he doesn't eat anything that day because he'd heard that, like, it makes the slaughter easier if your stomach is empty. But then he also heard that it makes the meat tastier, which I thought was weird because, like, grass-fed beef is meant to be, like, the best, and then you have, like, corn-fed chicken. So why would human flesh, like, if it was me, I'd eat a whole bunch of garlic because it'll give it some extra je ne sais quoi.
Some je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, like, you know.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
So they meet at the station, Armin and Bert, and they go back to the manor.
The slaughterhouse.
Where they undress, drink coffee naked, and then go to inspect the slaughter room. I don't know what the drinking
detail. It's like we didn't even need all this detail.
Literally, and I don't understand what the drinking coffee and naked, like, why that was necessary as part of the ritual. But I would have thought they would have had sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it's like, was it? I guess it wasn't. It wasn't sexual.
Yeah, but I would have wanted to go out with a bang, literally.
Yeah, literally.
So we learned that they're messing about, which probably could have been the sex.
Yeah, fair.
And, you know, at the crucial part where Armin is meant to bite off the penis, he can't bring himself to do it. So Bert is like, oh, here we go again, another person that, you know, cannot fulfill my fantasies. So he's about to go home unsatisfied, and they go, I don't know why they do this, but he puts on all his clothes, he's about to go, like, into, like, to the station. They're in the car driving, and then Armin's like, no, like, come back, I can do it now, I'm ready, I've got my mind right, I can really eat your penis. So
wild.
On the way back, he buys like sleeping pill shrubs and he drinks this on the journey home. So he's really like drowsy. And I don't know again why this is necessary, because I would have thought if this is your peak of sexual gratification, you would want to be fully aware,
fully there,
especially knowing you're going to die. Like you'd want to have all your faculties to have that one last enjoyment.
And then also like if he had done it initially, you wouldn't have had all these like
things, so why this now?
So why then? It's like, I thought that it would have been Armin that
needed the relaxatant.
Listen, we cannot understand the mad because we are not mad.
Exactly, and it's a good sign that we have all these questions. Yeah. So Armin sets up his camera to record the act, and they get to the slaughter room, and basically he cuts off Bert's penis with one quick swoop.
One fell swoop.
That's what I was thinking. Fell swoop, yeah. And then he cuts it into two. And
listen,
sorry,
guys, trigger warning.
Trigger warning for everything.
You saw the title and you clicked, so that's your own.
So after cutting off the penis, Armin slices it into two,
so they can share. Because the idea is that Bert's not dead. The idea is that they can both, eat it.
But it's too tough.
It's too tough.
So Armin's like, okay, cool, bet. I bet.
What do you do? What do you do when meat is too tough? What do you do?
You fry it. So he goes downstairs to fry it. Bert lies in the bath and he's like bleeding out because obviously his penis is cut off. And like obviously Armin is a shit cook because he overcooks this penis and it's too burnt and they can't eat it.
Burnt, yeah.
So it's like, okay, so Bert is really dying and he doesn't even get to taste the flesh of his flesh that he wanted to. So now he's just dying like for nothing.
Penisless and penisless.
Literally. And then so Armin's like, okay, cool, like you die, I'm gonna go read a Star Trek novel to pass time.
Literally. As in, even banter.
Quite literally, that's what happens. And he comes back in 3 hours and Bert is still alive, so he just stabs him in the neck. So I hope you guys understand that because I'm not going over it again. Exactly. So they don't really make this bit clear, but it's similar to what like Jeffrey Dahmer did. He kind of fillets or flanks, I don't know what it's called, but he cuts the meat off the bone, removes the innards,
and puts it in his,
and then he buries it in the garden. And then they stopped calling it a human and they just call it meat, which is frightening.
Yeah.
So he cuts up the meat and puts it in freezer boxes, Tupperware. The Tupperware that your nan brings your cookies round in, he puts it in Tupperware. And so 2 weeks later, he has his first human meal because he's like, oh, I've run out of like beef and pork. I might as well fry up Bert. And they say it's a steak. God. They say it's a steak, potato, sprouts, and peppercorn sauce with red wine. Why is it called steak? Like this is scary. Like so now it's now turned into full on meat. A steak is beef, hun.
It's because there's no word for human,
meat. Yeah, but then you can just say he fries up like the breast or the buttocks.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh.
And then so basically like the narrator's like, he tells the police officers like whenever he's narrating the story to them that it tastes like pork. So I guess that's our answer. It tastes like pork.
Yeah.
My mum just brought out pork actually for us to eat. Jesus.
Are you sure it's pork or is it Bert?
God. So then he bakes the arm bone and turns it into flour. And then he puts the leg on display. Display for who? Nobody's come to your house.
I mean, there was
just so much wrong with this.
But many questions.
I think the grating of the arm bone was a good use of like all of the corpse.
I mean, he was very like efficient and economical. With
it,
but also like,
what the fuck?
It was a person.
Yeah. So this leads me to believe that these two didn't have sex because he claims he becomes sexually aroused for the first time when he masturbates to the video of the slaughter. And this guy is fucked. Like sometimes you do some shit and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. Like what the hell is wrong with me? But no, he's like, oh my gosh, I did that shit. This is turning me on, so I'm gonna like bust a nut.
Yeah.
Sorry to be graphic, but yeah.
It's
Yeah, guys, I'm struggling.
I just don't really have any words.
Okay, so
do we have to continue? Do you reckon we just play the trailer for the next thing?
I don't think they'll notice. Yeah, so meanwhile Bert's family is trying to figure out like what the hell is going on. This just reminds me of that Chris Brown video, like where he's like standing up and he's like, what the hell is going on? Like, I'm trying to really know like what the fuck is going on. Have you seen it? Yeah, so they're like, what the fuck is going on? And they like discovered that he hadn't spent any money since he disappeared. Like his cards had been frozen. And then one of Renee's friends points out that he remembers actually seeing Bert at the station, and they all go there. I don't know what they go there for, if they think he's just gonna be standing in the same spot. I was
thinking,
people are dumb.
They do this in documentaries or in like movies and stuff, and you're like, what did you hope to gain? Then they'll see some random thing and be like, literally, this is it.
Or like he would have left a note on the floor, like. Anyways, but that leads to nothing. But I mean, what we as the listeners or the watchers, we know that that he was on his way to Castle to be eaten, but they don't know. It
puts the pieces of the puzzle together for them.
And it's just so crazy because it's like when they got to the station, they had no clue that this guy was on his way to be consumed. So it's just like, what is going on? Yeah. So they post his picture in public, and this also leads to nothing, which obviously wouldn't, because like there's one person who knows where he is.
Yeah, exactly.
So over the next 2 months, Armin continues to cook and eat Bert's meat. And, you know, after 5 months of silence, I guess it takes him 5 months to consume quite a bit of this meat. You know, he's back on the, cannibal website looking for a new victim. And he's obviously like talking. He's like, yeah, like, I've done this before and people aren't sold, blah, blah, blah. So he starts to say a lot of stuff and post graphic details and pictures of this crime to prove that he is actually on what he says he's on, because it's like, okay, you lots won't believe me when I was just typing this shit, so now you finna see it.
Oh my god.
And then a student sees this and alerts the police. So on the 10th of December, the police officers arrive at Armin's home, and whilst they search his house, Armin manages to hide the tapes showing the killings, and the police retrieve the remains, so like the innards, the skin that was buried. And meat. But at the time, they don't know that the meat is human. They just have all this meat. And obviously, because the story has been that he's eaten this person, they have to, like, test this meat when they get home.
Oh, my God.
And then...
To be a police officer, I'm sorry, like...
You see some shit.
You have to do all this. You have to watch those videos. Even, like, with, when they're investigating, like, child sex crimes.
They have to watch those videos. You have to
go through these people's computers. You have to watch these... Like, it's just... Like, there is not enough money in the world
that would make me... Because it's one thing to talk about it and to know this shit happens, but to see it in real life.
Exactly.
So Armin quickly confesses, like he was never trying to hide. He quickly confesses. He reveals the location of the tapes. And the people in the village begin to talk, and they're just shocked because they all found him kind, open and friendly. I mean, they all knew he was a weirdo, but they just thought he was like a recluse, basically, not a fucking cannibal.
Exactly, because there's a difference.
There's a big difference. So, meanwhile, pathologists calculate based on what's left that Armin had eaten 20 kilograms of Bert's flesh.
Of Bert? Like 20 kilograms of Bert's? Like Bert, the person, like he ate him? Do you know how wild that is?
You know how, like, beef is really fatty? So, like, if you fry mince, like, oil, like, comes out. Do you think that's what happens, like, when you fry, like, a human? I
think it depends on the human. Because, with athletes, I feel like athletes would be quite lean. But if you're bigger, then it'd probably be more fat.
Jesus.
Because it's like, they literally try and be like, oh, there's this much muscle and this much fat or whatever. They know them athletes that know their percentages or whatever. So I reckon if you ate an athlete, it'd be quite lean meat.
Like horse meat.
Girl, I do not know. See, and the thing is that there's even animals that people won't, like, talk to someone about eating a dog and they'd be outraged. Do you know what I mean? So it's not even like, oh yeah, animals are just like, all animals are
open season. Yeah.
So it's like, then you want to come bring humans into it.
Ciao.
You did, like, last week I was talking about maybe just eating a bit of my thigh or whatever. Not 20 kilograms of myself.
Yeah.
That's wild, no?
No, it's fucking insane. It's fucking insane. He was eating that shit every day.
Every meal, every day.
And protein is expensive, so he was saving coins.
It's true, he was. But the cleanup must have been... He paid with his time, man, honestly.
So Armin was remanded in prison while state psychiatrists found him sane. Armin told the psychiatrist that he had fantasized about eating men for the years, and in eating Bert, he had absorbed his masculinity and even his ability to speak English.
Okay.
And it just doesn't work like that. During this time, news broke nationwide, and Bert's friends were like shocked. They just couldn't believe that this was the man that they knew. Because who could, even the worst person I know, I would still be shocked to find out they had been.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask that. Who in your life would you hear the story about and be like, fair?
Not one person. There's no one that even the worst person I know, I would never believe they could eat or be eaten.
Eat someone, yeah.
What the hell? So Armin's defense rested on the victim wanting to be killed and giving him consent. And we learned that
because cannibalism isn't illegal, the prosecution's case rested on whether the killing was sexually motivated.
Which is wild.
Yeah, literally. So basically what they're saying is, I
actually get it. Because
I get it.
It's not illegal to eat somebody. It's legal to kill someone. To eat someone, you have to kill them. So it's kind of like a catch-22.
It's
like
a chicken and egg. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You killed the person. And so then
so if it's a sexually motivated crime, then he murdered him on the basis of sex. So it's murder. But if it wasn't sexually motivated, then it's not murder, which is weird. But yeah.
Yeah.
And also we learned that all this came to play because what actually killed Bert was the stab in the neck. So if he had
not the cutting off.
if he had sliced off his penis, then it would have been like manslaughter. But the stab in the neck was what killed him.
Well, yeah, which makes sense because he did it to kill him.
Yeah, exactly. So we're nearing the end of this documentary. Thank fuck.
You guys will be so happy to know.
Literally, the on-screen text tells us that in January 2004, the court decided that Bert did consent to his own slaughter and that Armin's killing was not sexually motivated. And Armin was convicted of manslaughter and sent to 8.5 years in prison. And he promised that he would never eat human meat again, which is kind of like when you see a kid doing something naughty and they're like, oh, I promise I won't do it again. It's like, okay.
Fam, he pinky promised the judge.
Like, what the fuck? But I, as per usual, I never let things rest. So I did do some research of my own.
I actually Googled this one,
Yeah, because I was like, I cannot believe this fucker is out.
I was like, what, he's out already?
He's out and about, like, living in that mansion. Only God knows how many bodies are buried. Yeah. But yeah, we actually found out that the prosecution, is that the other side or the defense? I don't know.
The prosecution are against him. Yeah,
so the prosecution was like, oh, no way, Jose, this doesn't make any sense.
Thought.
Yeah, like, people did not want him out because he was looking at coming out after 4 years for good behaviour, and they were like, oh no, Jose, like, no. So they did some work, and basically he was retried and convicted of murder and then was sentenced to life in prison, which I really hope in Germany life in prison is not like UK. Like, a man like this should never be allowed out. He has sexual urges which he fulfilled, and he will do it again.
Which he cannot overcome. Like, he's going to succumb to those. Yeah.
So yeah, that is the story of the man who ate his lover. I mean, lover is a stretch. They weren't lovers, but
yeah, but they were. Do you not think they had sex?
That doesn't make them a lover. A lover implies like a prolonged affair. Like, when they said lover, I thought they were boyfriends and they had an argument, he killed him and then ate him. It has certain connotations.
Either way, he killed and ate this man. And that man wanted to be killed and eaten. And that's just wild. We could have stopped it right there at the very beginning.
Yeah, that could have been the whole, like, episode.
Boy. But yeah, guys, I'm so sorry we had to do that to you. But, I mean, it was an interesting one in terms of it's not about did he kill him or not. It's about, can you consent to murder?
Yeah.
Which you cannot.
I feel sick. What are we doing next week?
Next week is so much better vibes, guys, I promise. And if you're still here, thank you for making it to the end, because we were in this together holding hands, drinking wine. So it's a Netflix documentary, relatively new, called Made You Look, a true story about fake arts. And I'm going to play the trailer for you, but we'll do all of our social media stuff before that. So where can they find us, my love?
They can find us on Instagram and Twitter at 2 Girls 1 Dark. We also have Facebook, and we have a YouTube. Where can they find you?
Find me on Instagram and Twitter at BDOnEyewear. And where can they find you? On
Instagram and Twitter at 2
Not
2 Girls 1 Dark. But you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at 4ends_2_. And you can also find me on my other podcast, Character Replay. We have just finished covering Sex and the City, we will be covering Modern Family next. So yeah, Lily.
I'm going to play the trailer. Now, the beginning of this trailer is just on-screen text, so I'm going to read out what it says, and then the rest of the trailer will continue. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, then. Well,
Thanks for rocking with us.
bye.
Bye.
This is a true story about fake art. Names have not been changed to protect the innocent, as some are not that innocent.
No one wants to be fooled. People are fooled by art much more than we know. The director of the Metropolitan Museum was once asked, "Well, how many fakes do you think could possibly be on the walls?" To which he responded, "I have no idea. It's embarrassing." Worse than that, I think, is that they don't want to own up to admitting that they were fooled. I think it's, very easy to see how I was so caught up in the excitement over the art.
They say they are sure she was a part of the criminal enterprise. They say they're positive.
Either she was complicit in it or she was one of the stupidest people to have ever worked at an art gallery.
I did not knowingly sell fakes. I was convinced that they were right and real and believable. I was convinced.